Hello dear friends! In this episode I would like to talk about my experience of working and living in China. I will talk about A. How did it all happen? B. Finding my calling in teaching. C. Working with IB. And D. What do I think about all these years that I've spent here? It's been 18 years, so let's talk about that. It started with a couple of my group mates visiting China back in 2002, 1 year before the graduation year from my university. And they told me about their experience, that China was fun, that it was really easy to find a job, that the pay was rewarding. So those things attracted me, but of course the main reason was to study Chinese, because Chinese was my second language in my uni. So I went. How did I find a job? Really easily, via the internet. I googled teaching positions in China and lots of hiring websites popped up, and I have chosen like first 10 schools that I saw. I didn't care where to go, I just wanted to go to China. I was trying to avoid big cities like Beijing, Shanghai or Guangzhou because I wanted to experience real China in the depth of it. So I got a reply from Nanshan, it's in Jiangxi province, saying that they needed a teacher yesterday. It means they needed a teacher like ASAP. So I said yes, and they asked me if it's okay to give me a call and interview me over the phone. I got a call from DOS of that school, Director of Studies, a guy from the UK. We briefly spoke about something, I don't remember what, but he liked my accent, he liked my English, and he said, come over. So I came. It took me 7 days, that's a Chinese way to show 7 days to arrive, to come from Novosibirsk to Nanshan. I will tell that story maybe later, not in this video, but it was some experience. I took trains and it took me 7 days to arrive to the point of destination. So that's how I found a job, and my first school was English First. It was a big name in China. Right now it's much diminished because of new laws and a couple of scandals, I think. But yeah, back then it was a big school, and I was happy to teach there. And that's how I started. That's how my journey in China began. It took me a long way. I taught English for 14 years in China, and then I realized that it's a dead end. It's a cul-de-sac, so to speak, which does not lead you anywhere, because working in public Chinese schools, kindergartens, universities, and training centers, there is no career growth. And I wanted to try different roles in a school. So I started to talk to teachers from different schools, and then I spoke to teachers from international schools in Nanshan, and they told me two things that attracted me a lot. Number one was the salary. They were making as much as I was making doing 3 jobs. So I thought to myself, going from kindergarten to that high school and then to a training center on my scooter, rain or shine, for the same money, I was like, well, yeah, back then doing that was okay because I was younger, but I can't imagine doing this right now, really. I would be so tired. So this was reason number one. Reason number two, they told me that there is chance for career growth. So I decided to do whatever it takes and to get a job in an international school. And in 2018, I passed the interview and I was accepted as a homeroom teacher in an international school in Nanshan. And I did that for a year, which was absolutely another story. If you compare teaching in a private center, for example, or a university, and doing homeroom in an international school with foreign management, that's absolutely, apples and oranges. The thing is that in a uni here in China, when you teach, the condition, you need to just follow one condition. You need to be on time. 5 minutes before class, you come into your classroom, you stay there. There is a person who goes does walk about, and if they see you in your classroom, they're happy. They don't care what you teach, you just must be there, that's all. That's the only requirement. Of course, not everybody is doing whatever in those classrooms. I really hope that, and I know that many teachers do honest, good job, and they are appreciated and they like their work. But anyways, if we come back to the international setting, international school setting, I had foreign management, which was really difficult to accept because I so much got used to being free and not being talked at. And in my first year, that was really, really hard for me. But then it took me a year to understand how it all works. By the way, that school is an IB school. That's how my honeymoon with IB started. I'm still within the IB framework, which I really like, and I'm going to talk about it next. So, after a year of doing homeroom, the music teacher who was in that school, she left, and I inherited her position. And when I started to teach music, I realized that's what I want to do, because I love music, and doing something that you like is absolutely great combo for working. You go to work and you feel like you're not working, you feel like you're doing something fun. And another big difference is that homeroom teachers, they are super busy. They have to prepare so much more than specialist teachers. Teaching music, PSP, if we talk about IB, PE, physical education, or arts, for example, those teachers are called specialist teachers. And you just stay in your classroom and students come and go. Different groups come and go. If you are a homeroom teacher, you have to stay with that class from morning until the time they go back home. So I was so tired. I was teaching K3. I mean, I love kindergarten, I love kids, but they were draining my power. I was coming back home powerless, and I was just ready to go to sleep, and I was asleep before my head was hitting the pillow. So that's how I became a music teacher, and I'm still doing it, and I'm super happy about it, and I love the results of my work. I love the fact that honestly, people don't really consider music a serious subject, but on the other hand, when they have an event or something, who is responsible for the school to look nice? Of course, drama teachers, music teachers, and art teachers, right? Those unimportant subjects. So I'm very happy to do this work and make the school look great, make students happy in my classroom. I'm really happy to see when my students leave my class and they hum or sing whatever songs we learn in my classroom. This is very rewarding. It means that they like what they're doing. And my job as a music teacher is to teach them how to love music, how to connect themselves with music, because music is such an intricate thing that if you have a skill of singing or playing a musical instrument, or even just understanding and appreciating music, it separates you from the rest of the crowd which doesn't understand those things, and you become sort of special. This is my way to my position that I'm doing right now. IB stands for International Baccalaureate. The first diploma program was written, and it was implemented in 1968. Then in 1994, they implemented MYP, which stands for Middle Years Program, that's middle school. And in 1997, they implemented PYP, which stands for Primary Years Program. So, once I started to work with IB within this framework, I started with PYP, by the way, Primary Years Program. That's kids from K to grade 6 in that school where I used to teach. Once I did a year being a homeroom teacher, PSP teacher. PSP stands for Personal, Social, and Physical Education. It's not just running, it's also learning about why you need to run, That's just a simple example. Anyways, I was teaching PSP, I was teaching library. Library is also, in IB, library is not just giving out books, it's reading books, it's working, it's talking about books, it's discussing, it's finding books for certain themes, for units of inquiry of other homeroom teachers. It's really complicated actually, but it's a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed working in PYP in my first year in 2018. I started in 2018. So it's been 6 years. So after that 1 year, I realized that kids who are learning within this curriculum are lucky ones, because I remember myself being a primary school student, for example, or middle school student. I remember how teachers were just telling me, open your books at page number 97 and read this paragraph, and then retell me the main ideas. That's spoon feeding. If we talk about IB, it does not happen like that, or at least it shouldn't. It should happen like this. Teachers are like guides. They guide students through obstacles to that door where the knowledge is. Imagine a room and there's a door to that room. So in that room there's lots of knowledge that students need to learn. Teachers, they just point at that door and walk students to that door. But students need to get through that door themselves, then discover whatever there is in that room, come back and reflect on it. Analyze what they learned and think about it. So this is how it happens. So basically, IB raises confident, lifelong learners. Yeah, I know, I'm reading from the book. It's all memorized, but it's true. Once you started to work with IB, once you started to learn within this framework, teachers, they make you get used to learning all the time. Constantly learning. When I joined PYP program in 2018, I decided to go further and study more. So I got my master's. After that, I got my PGCE, and now I'm thinking about getting another bachelor's degree. And it's not because I need more money or something like that. It's really that urge of learning. I did not realize that I had this urge, and maybe I didn't have it. But once I started to teach it myself, I thought about this idea and I was like, yeah, this is the best investment ever. You invest in your own knowledge and then it pays back like triple or quadruple with, I don't know, a better job, a better salary, a better community, better students, chance to travel, because International Baccalaureate was developed in Europe and now it's all over the world. If I want to, I can apply to any IB school or a candidate school anywhere in the world and go and find a job there. So if we want to talk about career opportunities within this system, there are lots. There are many roles. You can be a teacher, you can be a homeroom teacher, you can be a librarian, you can be a specialist teacher. A specialist teacher is the one who teaches subjects like arts, like PSPE, like library, like music, or you can choose another role. You, for example, if you know enough about the system, you can become a PYP or MYP or DP coordinator. It's more of an administrative job. It's not much of teaching, it's a lot of working with other teachers, how to teach, how to implement the ideas of IB, how to use that philosophy in your classroom. That's what PYP MYP, DP coordinators do. You can consult. You can consult candidate schools or even authorized schools. You can consult them about paperwork, if you like that kind of work, if this is your cup of tea. You could be development course leader. For example, IB offers different kinds of courses which are not very cheap. So if you work in an IB school, the school pays for them, for those courses. I'm still very excited about working with IB, and I know a couple of friends who just started to work with IB, and I asked them, how, like, what did they think about it, and they told me that it's amazing, you know. Everybody who works within IB, they think it's, yeah, sometimes it can be challenging, but generally it's just an amazing program. It's making superhumans, super smart, super global, open-minded global citizens, globally oriented, considerate. It's not only about education, it's also about your social behavior. It's about being a nice person generally. So that's my work within IB system. I hope it gave you some kind of idea of what it is if you consider joining. I think the fact that I'm still here is kind of self-explanatory. It's great. China can offer a lot to teachers, unlike my home country, unfortunately. It's a better salary, it's more chance to explore Southeast Asia. Everything is pretty close from China, you know. It's like if you want to go to Thailand, if you want to go to Cambodia, Vietnam, Philippines, it's really close and it's cheap. I'd say that it's a really rewarding experience. There was a point when I was telling myself, all right, this is my last year. I got tired of China. I don't want to live here anymore. But then it just wouldn't let me go. Then it would keep me with its welcoming atmosphere. It would keep me here by many criteria, actually. It's safe. Whatever they say on the web, I would say that I haven't seen a safer country, because, yeah, there is another side of that. There are lots of cameras everywhere. It's very hard to find a corner where you can just stay alone and unwatched around China. But on the other hand, that eliminates the crime. It's very easy. It's very safe to go down a dark alley anywhere in China. Really, I don't remember when I was worried last time here about being mugged or something like that. Of course, stuff happens, but far not that often as in the West, I would say. You know, so safety is a great perk. What else? Food is amazing. However, in the past several years, we eat food that we cook ourselves because we like it healthy. We don't like MSG in our food. We don't like too much salt, too much sugar. What else? Probably the weather. However, in the past couple of years, I'm not a big fan of heat, so I don't like heat so much. I used to like it, but not anymore. Stability, I guess. On one hand, it's stability. On the other hand, you never know what law are they going to issue. For example, I spoke about it earlier, but like in 2018, they issued a law just in September about non-native English speakers teaching English, that they are not allowed anymore. So if somebody was counting on getting an official job in a school coming not from an English-speaking country, they were it was a low blow for them for sure. They were shocked, and I don't know what they did. The people here, you know, that's another thing that I really like about China. Some might say that it's difficult to work with them, to live with them, to talk to them. Yeah, it can be, but like anywhere, the best thing I like about Chinese is their naivety. They are naive in many cases, which leaves them with one face. They say what they see, they say what they feel, and in this sense, you read them as an open book, which is great. I like it much more than, you know, fake smiles, and then as soon as you turn your back on that person, he or she talks about you, talks some, you know, bad stuff about you. So I like that about Chinese people. They really like foreigners. They like to communicate with foreigners. They like to make friends. They like to take pictures. The smaller the city, the more exotic you are. The bigger the city, the less of that experience you have. For example, here in Nanjing, nobody says hello, which is great. I like to be one of the masses. I don't like to be put on the spot. So it's time to finish my working day, and it's time to finish this video because I've been talking for too long. So I guess this video showed you how it all works here, how it worked for me, and how it's still working for me. And I hope you like it and subscribe for more. And I would like to remind you that on this channel, I'm not only talking about education and myself, I also talk about books from EFL point of view. EFL stands for English as a Foreign Language. I also post videos about music and traveling. So keep in touch, stay tuned for more. See you later.